Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round one of the league tournament that happened at Die Hard Games on August 8th, 2024. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. More info in the description. Stellar Crown pre-releases start Saturday, August 31st at 1 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games, and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as league challenges, league cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. On the left, Lugia. On the right, Charizard. It looks like our Lugia player is starting us off with a Mesagoza flip. That stadium, of course, has you flip a coin, and if heads, you can search your deck for a Pokemon. Heads was flipped, so now a Pokemon will be searched out of the deck, and of course, those Archeops are the prime targets to get in the hand early in this game. Archeops, of course, has the powerful Primal Turbo ability, and those Archeops can be summoned from the discard pile with Lugia V-Star power summoning star, but we'll get to that as we come. Just know that first step is to get a couple of Archeops in the discard pile, and the best way to do that is have two in hand and to play an Ultra Ball like we just saw. Ultra Ball discards a couple cards in order to search the deck for a Pokemon, and it looks like that all-important Lugia V is found and established onto the board here. This is exactly what a Lugia player likes to see on their turn one. At least two Archeops in the discard pile, and a Lugia V on the board. Radiant Charizard in the active. Double Turbo Energy gets attached to it. And things are passed over to our Charizard player with the Charmander in the active spot. Let's see what our Charizard player can manufacture. They're thinking about using the Mesagoza Stadium themselves, as they should. Really, the Charizard player will be after a Buddy Buddy Poffin on their first turn in order to start getting their dudes out. Mesagoza flips heads there. Awesome. So our Charizard player, shout out to our Charizard player, is going to search their deck for a Pokemon. Either another Charmander or a Pidgey would be a valid target here, a good target, but it just depends on what all other cards are in the player's hand. They're keeping their choice close to the chest here, but they will reveal it here shortly, as it is that Pidgey that hits the bench. Now we'd like to see at least one more Charmander hit the field here, since that active Charmander is at risk of a KO on the opponent's next turn. With the double Archeops in the discard pile, all the Lugia player needs to do is find their Lugia V-Star in order to get things rolling. They could even attack with that active Radiant Charizard if they wanted to. So our Charizard player is going to take a look through their hand in order to best inform their next decision. Rotom V could be another good target if they even play that card, but we're going to go for a Lady, I believe. That supporter card has something to do with searching energy out of the deck while our player is resolving, and I'll see if I could find it very quickly here. Search your deck up to 4 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Okay, so our player is filling their hand with energy cards here. You do have to reveal the cards to your opponent here, but looks like 4 fire energy were found and added to the hand. Thinned out of the deck. Charizard EX does accelerate energy from the deck, so usually it's best in there in order to get accelerated later, but just depends on how many energy the player plays and what their overall strategy is in this instance. fire energy attached to the bench Pidgey, and things are passed back over to our Lugia player. Let's see if they can capitalize on a lone Charmander in play, flipping a Tails on that Mesagoza stadium there. No easy out to the Lugia V-Star. V-Guard energy is attached to the active Charizard, Radiant Charizard, and things are passed back over to our Charizard player who catches a break. Or should I say that Charmander catches the break here. Mesagoza flip is Tails, so no free Pokemon able to be searched out of the deck here. Our Charizard player just wants to find a rare candy. Charizard EX's turn. Establishing a Pidgeot EX would be nice too, but no, stalemate. Things are just passed right back over to our Lugia player. The Charizard player cannot capitalize on the stumble of the Lugia's player's last turn. Mesagoza results in a heads flip for our Lugia player here, so they are most certainly gonna pluck out of the deck that Lugia V-Star. The League Lugia V-Star evolves on the bench there. Lugia V-Star uses its V-Star power ability Summoning Star in order to bring double Archeops from the discard pile into play. Double Primal Turbo live currently. And it looks like we're going for them. Primal Turbo number 1 that allows you to search your deck for up to 2 special energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. So we're most likely going to go for that Legacy energy and a Gift energy to be attached to the Radiant Charizard. Now it's expensive Combustion Blast. Expensive at this point in the game. Combustion Blast attack is fully powered up now. It's swinging for 230 currently thanks to that double turbo energy, but it's more than enough to deal with the Charmander in its path. Second Primal Turbo is resolved, attaching a Mist energy and a Gift energy to the bench Lugia V-Star. Double threats lined up on Lugia's side of the field. Double turbo energy attached to that Lugia V-Star. It's ready to go. So even if our Charizard player can somehow knock out double Archeops on their next turn, our Lugia player will have 2 attackers ready to go still. Combustion Blast on that opposing Charmander knocks it out. Pidgey moves into the active spot and play resumes over on its side. Now Combustion Blast cannot be used during that player's next turn unless that Radiant Charizard hits the bench and finds its way back into the active spot somehow. But it looks like our Charizard player is going to flip heads on Mesagoza and pluck a Pidgeot EX out of their deck. Rare Candy is already in hand. Ouch, they were so close to that Charizard EX too. Either way, Rare Candy allows that Pidgey to evolve straight into Pidgeot EX. Pidgeot EX, of course, has the powerful Quick Search ability. Once per turn, you can search your deck for a card. And that card is going to be a Charmander. Maybe a Buddy Buddy Poffin would have been better to find, so you can put two Charmander on the bench, but at least we got the Charmander down. Pidgeot uses its attack. Blustery Wind for 120 damage, and you may discard a Stadium in play. They're going to choose to leave that Mesagoza in play as the Lugia player now starts their turn off with a Capturing Aroma, flipping heads. Heads on Capturing Aroma means an evolution Pokemon can be searched from the deck. Another Archeops is pulled out of the deck. Of course, we've got the Archeops minigame out the way. There's 2 in play already. So our player is just going to thin their deck of that useless at this point Archeops. So that way there's just good stuff remaining in that deck. Next is a Mesagoza flip heads, so another Pokemon can be found from the deck. Just more attackers is all the Lugia player is going to need just to close out the game. And it looks like they are eyeing up that Weird Ear V. Doing some calculations here. The Weirdeer V is found and put onto the bench. It has the Frontier Road ability. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may move any amount of energy from one of your other Pokemon to the Weirdeer. And its attack for 3 colorless Psy Shield Blast 40 times. This attack does 40 damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. So let's see if our Charizard player can take a one-shot on the opposing Pidgeot EX as a gift energy is attached to that Weirdeer V. The Radiant Charizard is a heavy Mon, as its retreat cost is 3, so it is going to pay manual retreat to go to the bench. The Weirdeer V is in the active spot. Now all of the energy in play may be accelerated to that Weirdeer, or as much as needed to take the one shot, if that's what our Lugia player is going for here. Or are they just going to go for a punch into this opposing Pidgeot EX? There are still Primal Turbo available. So I think that's what we're seeing now. Primal Turbo number 1 is going to accelerate a couple energy cards out of the deck. Most likely onto that Weirdeer V. Okay, a V-Guard and a double Turbo Energy will get attached to it. I'm not going to do the math until I need to here. We'll let our players play things out because this match is in the past and has already been decided. Jet Energy is attached from hand to the active Weirdeer. Is that enough to KO the 280 HP Pidgeot across the table? Looks like our Lugia player thinks so, so I'll go ahead and do some math here for each energy attached to this Pokemon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 energy currently on that Weirdeer V. 8 times 4 is 32. Now, of course, there's a double minus 20 because of the double turbo. So minus 40 is 280 exactly. Psy Shield Blast, gets there, KOing the opposing Pidgeot EX for a perfect knockout. Charmander replaces it in the active spot, and play resumes over on its side. It is Charmander against the world. Let's see what our Charizard player can put together here. Going to start things off with an Arven. That supporter card allows the player to search their deck for an item card and a tool card. I wonder if this list plays the Technical Machine Evolution or not. Our Charizard player definitely needs to establish their board with more attackers, really. Alright, that Buddy Poffin is found here with that Arven. That item card, of course, lets you search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon, basic Pokemon, with 70 HP or less, and put them onto your bench. Like I've said before, way better to play in the early game, if you can find it, than to get all of your Pokemon out, to get your main characters into play. But better late than never, I suppose. Buddy Poffin does find 2 targets. I'm sure we will see them hit the board pretty soon. Charmander and Growlithe are going to come into play to join the party here. Maybe with their powers combined, they can take down this huge alt-art, full-art Weirdeer V. Our Charizard player is consulting their hand, consulting the deck, seeing what resources are available, what resources have been expended in order to better inform their next move of an energy retrieval. That item card allows the player to add 2 energy cards to their hand. Just some housekeeping. Our Charizard player is a newer player, they are not concealing their chosen cards on purpose. They're still learning the game, and they are definitely making legal moves. As they get lucky off of this Mesagoza flip heads, they can search their deck for another Pokemon. So now, better late than never, the board is getting established over on their side. But is it too little too late in this mid-game? 3 prize cards to 6 prize cards. We'll have to wait and see, as a target is identified here off of the Mesagoza. I can't quite see what it is, but it's definitely some kind of Pokemon. Next, Beach Court is put into play in order to counter that Mesagoza Stadium and give active Pokemon -1 energy to their retreat cost, so Charmander is able to retreat for free to the bench. Energy is attached to the active Growlithe, and I just could not find that card. It does have an attack for a colorless energy. It looks like that attack does accelerate energy to the board. So a couple of energy are accelerated onto the active Growlithe, and things are passed back over to our Lugia player. Unfortunately, the Weird Ear V can take an easy KO on this opposing Growlithe. But we will see what our players ultimately decide to do. I'm just chilling in the professor's lab. They're the ones doing the hard work here. As a Mist Energy is attached to the bench, Lugia V-Star, and a Great Ball is played. That item lets you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, and you may put a Pokemon card you find there into your hand. Shuffle the rest back into the deck. Doesn't seem like the player needs to really put anything else into play at this point. There are 3 attackers close to being fully powered up and ready to go. The big Weird Ear V in the active doing 280 damage currently, one-shotting anything on the opposing side. So a Lumineon will be found off of that Great Ball, opening up some options for our Lugia player here. Lumineon, with its Luminous Sign ability, when it's put into play, Luminous Sign activates and allows that player to search their deck for a supporter card. I don't think our player wants to search for Boss's Orders with Lumineon, as they want to KO the active Growlithe since it has all the energy in play. And there are double Charmander, so the Weird Ear V is going to manually retreat into that Lugia V-Star, protecting itself and all those energy attached to it, most importantly. And then I think we're just going to start sweeping these small Pokemon with the Lugia, so long as there's a way to power it up, and we know that there is with Primal Turbo. Primal Turbo on the Archeops on the bench is going to activate to allow the player to search their deck for 2 energy cards to attach to the active Lugia V-Star, fully powering up its Tempest Dive attack. No double turbo energy attached to it, so Tempest Dive will be doing the full 220, and you may discard a Stadium in play. 220 damage, more than enough to KO the opposing Growlithe. And it looks like the player either forgot or chose to leave the Beach Court in play there. Charmander slides to the active spot and play resumes over on its side. Kangaskhan EX hits the bench. Boss's Orders brings up one of the Archeops from the bench into the active spot. Energy is attached to the Kangaskhan. It moves into the active spot freely thanks to the Beach Court and uses its triple draw attack to draw 3 cards. The classic boss stall. Ooh, except for the Archeops, I think has one retreat. And so that beach court allows it to retreat for free. A potential oversight on our Charizard player's side here, but missed energy. Oh, maybe beach court only allows basic Pokemon to retreat for free. Okay, so the energy was attached to the Archeops so that way it could pay manual retreat, moving the Weird Ear into the active spot. Weird Ear takes more than enough energy onto it with its Frontier Road ability, and Psyshield Bash does more than enough damage to KO the opposing Kangaskhan EX for the last 2 prize cards of the game. What do you guys think of this video and the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments, like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.